The first control, when we look inside of identifies business environment, is the organization's role within the supply chain is identified and communicated. So breaking down these two pieces, when you look at your organization and where it sits, let's say this represents your org, you have upstream and you have downstream. Within critical infrastructure, whether it's manufacturing, defense industrial base, whatever have you, this is key to know. Is your upstream the government? Could it possibly be the Department of Defense? Could it be another customer? Whatever it is, you need to understand who you are and where you sit. Downstream from you, you need to have a good understanding of the vendors that are supporting you and your organization and what it is that they mean. Do you know where you sit within this organization? Can you clearly identify who upstream and downstream are from you? Can you clearly identify and understand what these vendors provide for you as services, capabilities, products, deliverables? And have you communicated, or are you able to communicate where you sit within this line to anybody upstream as well as down into your vendor space so that they understand where they sit as far as criticality to your organization? And this becomes very relevant as we go down into the other controls within business environment, because being able to understand if this vendor is the most important to your organization and your operations, ensuring that that vendor knows what it is, and then as we look at other controls later on around incident response and detection capabilities, and then ideally recovery capabilities, this is where you've identified that those vendors are the most important to your operations, and then in turn important to your upstream operations, whether they are a government or another customer in the private sector. Really, again, understanding, much like the first the asset management, we looked at it, this entire identify category within NIST is really taking the time to figure out what it is that you have both upstream and downstream. What are you dependent on? Who's dependent on you? The criticality, the impact, and the importance.